you with us on this Thursday edition of Ed Schultz News and Commentary. Lots going on. Let's see now. We got a guy who's going to take the fifth in the Hillary Clinton email scandal. That's not good. Now, Democrats, be fair about this. Critics, be fair about this, okay? When Governor Scott in Florida took the fifth 75 times on a Medicare fraud case, everybody was all over him. It never looks good when you take the fifth. This isn't about politics. This is about legalities right now, and I wish Hillary would come clean. We'll talk more about it. Joe Biden's talking like a candidate. Elizabeth Warren made a comment to the Boston Globe about the possibility of her candidacy and her long conversation with Biden. And also the Iran deal. Unfolding yesterday was the 34th Senate vote, and that's Schakowsky, who's retiring from Maryland, says that she will vote in favor of the deal. So that, of course, engaged a lot of activity over in the House. Nancy Pelosi wrote a letter to all of the Democrats saying, come clean, where are you going to be on this? Because we're going to get into it next week. There's probably going to be a vote next week. In fact, Kevin McCarthy, who runs the schedule, says there will be a vote next week when they all come back from their summer recess. So with that, the conversation's hot and heavy on Iran. Is it the right thing to do? It's about the best thing the Republicans have to talk about on the campaign trail right now to differentiate themselves from the president, to make the president the boogeyman in all of this. The fact of the matter is that staunch conservatives are against it. Those who are supporting Israel are against it. And one of them is Mike Huckabee, who puts it this way.
Iran has never stopped their rhetoric of death to America and wiping Israel off the face of the map. This is a dangerous agreement, and I really resent that the president has portrayed this as you either accept this deal or you want to go to war. I think that's utter nonsense. I think it's a kind of demagoguery that is certainly inappropriate to use, and this puts America, Israel, and the rest of the world in a very, very dangerous place.
You know, this is so contradictory, what he just said. We all know that the Iranians are moving forward, okay? And if we don't have this deal, they will continue to move forward. But in the first part of that soundbite, Huckabee's talking about how their rhetoric to annihilate Israel and start everything. But the president, when he capsulized it, saying, look, we either do this or we slow them down and we end up possibly going to war, he has trouble with that. So you wonder why Huckabee's in the toilet. But this is about the best thing the Republicans have to talk about if it's not Donald Trump. So what is going to happen in the House? Is this going to be a problem in the House? Will there be the votes to secure it? The vice chair of the House Progressive Caucus is Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky. She joins us on this Thursday. Congresswoman, good to have you with us.
So good to talk to you, Ed.
You bet. Okay, where do you stand on this? Is this being overplayed by the Republicans as it stands right now?
You know, the same neocons who stampeded us into this really bad war in Iraq are now saying that we need to scuttle this deal, which actually would stop Iran from having a nuclear weapon and do it in a way that relies on diplomacy and negotiations, and the entire rest of the world supporting that negotiation and keeping their eyes on Iran. One thing I want to say, though, you said that the deal is opposed by people who support Israel, and that is just not true. Almost 70 former security, intelligence, and military leaders, former leaders in Israel, have urged Prime Minister Netanyahu to accept the deal. I am a supporter of Israel. Look, Netanyahu said also that the interim deal was a really bad deal, and of course we know Iran did not cheat on that interim agreement, and now we've got the support of all the world except for Israel in moving forward with this bill.
I appreciate you correcting me on that from the standpoint. My point is that the Tom Cottons of the world and the radicals in the Senate who have been beating the drums the most claim that if you don't do this, you're not supporting Israel. Maybe I didn't word that correctly. That's what I meant.
Oh, they're always accusing us of that. So in terms of the House of Representatives, I've been one of the leaders of the whip team, spending the time before we left and most of the summer calling members, and I feel very, very confident that we are going to have enough votes like the Senate, to sustain a veto of the, by the President of the United States.
Sure. Okay, so where do you think Boehner is on this? And is the Tea Party going to be a problem on this?
Oh, there's no question that I believe that a motion to disapprove is going to pass the House, because face it, Ed, if Barack Obama said it was day outside,
it's still an Obama thing. Yeah,
the Republicans would say it's night, and so they're going to vote against him. They certainly don't want some kind of a diplomatic legacy for him. That's the last thing that they want. And so they're going to vote no, and they've got the majority. So the question is, are we going to sustain a veto? That is, unless the Senate actually gets 41 members, and then the bill doesn't even come up in the Senate. But we're going to have a vote, as you said, that McCarthy promised this week on whether to approve or disapprove. And you know where the Republicans are going to be. But this is a deal that's going to happen.
What about the rhetoric surrounding it? For instance, Dick Cheney now leading the charge on the cables, saying that this is a bad deal and it shouldn't be done.
Well, I think that's the greatest thing, because let's face it, Dick Cheney was the drum leader, or what do you call it? Drum major for the war in Iraq.
He's out trying to make the case that was the right thing to do.
I
mean,
know.
they're reinventing history here.
Unbelievable. And so I think the more Dick Cheney and Donald Trump and Ted Cruz are saying let's get rid of this deal, I think Democrats will be even more convinced.
Okay.
They want to be on the side of the president, and they want to be on the side of peace, not war.
Here's what Cheney's saying.
The deal is propositioned on that it's a good deal, and it's not. It will directly lead, I believe, to an arms race in the Middle East. The Saudis, the Emirates, others are not going to stand by and watch Iran acquire nukes and not have some of them themselves.
Do you think that this will ignite an arms race in the Middle East?
The opposite. If we don't do a deal, Iran has no restrictions. They will move toward a bomb, and that will force others in the region to do the same. Mm-hmm. Dick Cheney says it's a bad premise. Their premise is that a better deal is to be had, or maybe for Dick Cheney, why even try for a deal? You can't trust Iran. Let's just bomb them. That's his attitude toward how we deal with the rest of the world.